rumors that LA is probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, I mean, everybody be checking in. That's y'all favorite thing to do. Check in with somebody that's gonna rob your stupid ass.
Well, they're cool. Hey, well, they're cool. They ain't gotta with me, but I ain't signing no permission slip nowhere. That ain't what I do. Hey, look. If you want to come, if you wanted to come politic, you could have came in politics. Hey, that's all good, big homie. They said he could have just came in politics. You know, that what real niggas do. I ain't no peewee. But check out what I'm saying. I ain't no peewee though, so it don't go like that. It gotta be respect.
Like you try to glorify so. Try to glorify that ain't that. It's flaw. We know when flow when we deal with them in the streets. We know when they flow. Like we understand that they flow. We don't capitalize off their flawness though, because we'll capitalize off real.
Rumors that law is probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true? Yeah, because I mean everybody be checking, and that's your favorite thing to do, check in with somebody that's going to rob your stupid ass. Where they cool, hey, where they cool, they ain't got with me. But I ain't signing no permission slip nowhere, that ain't what I do. Hey look, hey look, if you want to come politic, you could have came in politic. Hey, that's all good big homie they che. He could have just came in politic. You know that was real. __. Dut, I ain't no P. Hey, no, but check out what I'm saying. I ain't no P though, so it don't go like that. It got to be respect, like you try to glorify. So try to glorify. Ain't that this flow? We know when flow, when we deal with in the streets, we know when flow, like we understand that they flaw. We don't capitalize off they flaw this though. Because we lie are real, the whole checking and drama where rappers are expected to pay their dues when they roll into certain cities is making waves, especially with some spicy rumors involving Drake and his so-called protector in Houston, J. Prince. You might have heard that Drake, thinking he had J. Prince's loyalty on lock, tried to shut down any rapper linked to Kendrick Lamar from performing in Houston. But guess what? J. Prince, who's got this rep as the big boss of Houston, didn't exactly back him up. Instead, it was Schoolboy Q who stepped in, showing no fear and basically calling out Drake's mob ties as a joke. At the same time, he exposed J. Prince for being behind the deaths of some of the most famous rappers, including Takeoff. Schoolboy Q hitting the stage in Houston this month. That was more than just a performance, it was a power move. He didn't just rap. He made a bold statement by roasting the whole checking and ritual, calling it out for the outdated joke it is. And honestly, he's got a point. J. Prince, still stuck in these street games, is out here trying to squeeze money from his own people. But here's where it gets dark. Rumors are swirling that this little extortion game might have even claimed some lives. So who's J. Prince been leaning on? And what's really going on with this extortion drama? Let's take it back for a sec. The roots of this extortion business, you got to go all the way back to 18th century Italy, where the mafia was the original pay up or else crew. When they crossed over to the U.S. cities like Chicago, New York, and Philly were under their thumb, living in fear of these shakedowns, naturally American street gangs and organized crime groups took notes, and soon enough extortion became a dark undercurrent in hip-hop culture. With our raking in serious cash, these groups wanted their cut. Today, extortion is practically woven into hip-hop's DNA. Even the biggest names couldn't escape it. Take Tupac, for instance. In 2011, some jaw-dropping FBI files revealed that the Jewish Defense League was extorting Tupac and other rap legends like E. According to the feds, the JL was threatening these artists' lives, then swooping in with an offer of protection for a price. It was like a messed-up insurance scam, but with death threats and Eazy-E. He was a target too, right before he tragically passed from AIDS. The FBI even suggested that these threats might have been aimed at Tupac before his in Vegas. Street gangs are still playing the same old game, demanding that rappers check in when they roll into a new city. It's all about making sure these artists can move around safely without getting jacked, or worse, in return, turn the rappers either cough up some cash for security or let local talent open for them. Heck, shows it's like buying a hood pass. But sometimes the price isn't just money, it could be your life. Now let's dive into some of the big names who've gotten caught in this web. Remember when Kanye West had that sketchy moment in Philly? He was just grabbing a bite with some friends at a diner when a group of shady dudes showed up. They didn't even order food, they just sat there watching him. Kanye had to tuck away his jewelry and lay low, but things were getting tense. That's when Beanie Siegel, also known as the Broad Street Bully, stepped in and turned the tables. Beanie didn't just show up, he made it crystal clear that no one was going to mess with Kanye on his watch. He started to get kind of nervous. And he called you up? No, he didn't call me up personally. Well, Somehow it got you, two ways you could put out the blast. It could go to everybody who was, yeah, he put the blast out there. Oh, he felt threatened, right? Yeah. And you showed up, yeah. And from what I heard you let them know that nothing was going to happen to Kenny. Not that's not how it went down yet. Saying, yeah, nothing was going to happen to him. Not why I was there. But if you think Philly is tough, wait until you hear about Detroit. The Motor City operates on a whole different level. And it's all thanks to a guy named Trick Trick. Rappers rolling into Detroit better be familiar with the no-fly zone Trick. Set the rules, show respect, and pay your dues, or you're not hitting the stage in his city. On the Drink Champs podcast, he spilled the tea. Back in the day, record labels would come to Detroit squeezing money out of local artists, while profiting off the city's talent. Trick wasn't having any of it. He shut that down, making sure the only ones cashing in on Detroit scene were the locals. And for anyone bold enough to test the no-fly zone, they quickly found out that Trick wasn't messing around. Let me ask you, Trick, cause I don't understand. What is the no-fly zone? What does that mean? Cause I mean, I've come to Detroit and had marvelous times. Music, movie, what does the sit was for record labels. Record labels used to have like street teams. And that was back in the air days, they would have a promo team take the artist, and take the artist to different locations. And it was like they were just coming to Detroit and wasn't picking up nothing. It was like they would charge the local artist to perform. They would charge the local artist to perform, and the local artist would bring 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 people, sometimes to this event that will pay to get in. It's like, how was you charging them? And they're bringing you revenue, wow, And then when it kept happening with the little homies, and they was just doing it because they got money, like that man me pay their own stage, tech, exactly, and it was radio as well, like the Jams events didn't consist of mostly Detroit artists. They consist of everybody from everywhere else, and the Detroit artists would get charged, wow. And I was like, that stop everything now. The only entertainment around this going to be what's here, right? So we going to get acquainted with what we got around these corners. And then we'll start letting a few trinklets in one at a time. And if anybody violate it, we deal with that. Just ask Rick Ross. He got a first-hand lesson in how serious the no-fly zone really is. When Ross tried to perform in Detroit without paying his respects, he learned the hard way that Trick wasn't bluffing. Ross's concert was acted, and he couldn't even get inside the venue. It was a power move, a reminder that in certain cities you either play by the rules or you don't play at all. When pressed about the incident, Ross downplayed it, calling it just another day. His team got to the venue first, only to find it padlocked like a showdown was brewing. We went out to Detroit. We had a gig to go to, so the team head over, to the gig. And I got my team, so my team is always in front of me, just to make it clear. I never even made it to the venue, okay? I never made it to the venue, me. And whoever this gentleman is, we never crossed paths. He never spoke with Rose, and I expect him to clarify that I expect him, I expect him to tell y'all we never talked to Rose. We never spoke to MMG, but anyway, Caravan on the way to the venue. And they get there and someone has locked the gates to the venue, padlocked, or however they did it. The gate was locked. It was gentlemen supposed to be here. This I didn't see myself, okay. It was supposed to be gentlemen here who were talking with the police, and it was very peaceful, for my team that made it, right. They didn't even know it was a problem, And so that's still the promoter's job, what I mean. So Ross never faced the so-called enforcers, expecting them to eventually admit they didn't have the guts to confront him. Meanwhile, Ross chilled at Greektown Casino, waiting for the promoter to sort things out. But instead of clarity, Ross heard rumors about a gang flexing their muscle. He let the talk go on, expecting someone to clear the air. But when that didn't happen, Ross stepped up and addressed it himself. Here's where it gets wild. Ross got his bag, probably a fat one, but couldn't shake the disappointment for his fans left hanging at a locked gate. For Ross, it wasn't personal, it was just business. Still, something didn't add up for him. If you're trying to prove your toughness, why lock out the lions? Ross summed it up perfectly. So, for whatever reason they did this, I don't understand it, because if it's somebody that's supposed to be from the jungle, in the jungle you don't lock the lions out, you let the lions in and lock them in. That's when you get your confrontation, if that's what you want. And that's when you get your now let's flip the switch to DaBaby. He found himself in a similar jam, but took a totally different route. Known for never backing down, DaBab was filming a music video in East Atlanta when a